This FD23 basically is alleging that the CEO of Burisma or somebody over there has 17 tapes in which Joe Biden is somehow involved, Hunter Biden is involved, and they're negotiating, if you would, how much money they're going to get for this protection. And what's crazy to me is that we've already seen various articles. They came out in 2019 in both the New York Times and the LA Times, in which reporters were somehow justifying this. They're saying, oh, it's not unusual for Eastern European countries to hire family members of American bigwigs politically so that they can get some protection. I'm like, what? Like, really? Because if that's the case, Americans need to know about that. I don't think that that's normal. I would think you'd kind of have a church and state thing going on. Remember when we were like, what the heck is Bill Clinton doing with his CGI nonsense while Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State, right? Doesn't sit right, doesn't feel right, doesn't seem really quite good. So many of you are alleging that this is in fact bribery. I mean, this is what it sounds like for sure, but it's like really, really scummy bribery. Again, going back to the memorandum that came out August 9th by the Committee of Oversight and Accountability, the third bank records memorandum from the Oversight Committee's investigation into the Biden family's influence peddling and business schemes. So basically, they found out that there were all these various banks. I mean, the first memorandum had to do with the Robinson Walker LLC account that you heard Comer reference there. The second bank records had to do with the Biden's business dealings in Romania, and then additional information regarding their partnership with Chinese entities closely tied to the CCP. And then the third bank records memorandum, of which I've shown you a few things. This serves to inform members of the Biden's family relationships with certain foreign entities and individuals in Russia, in Ukraine, and in Kazakhstan. Like, how does this happen? How does Hunter Biden, who's a total screw-up and a drug addict and other kinds of addicts as well, we'll leave that aside, how does he suddenly get all this business with all these overseas ventures to which he can make some $20 million that we know about? That's what we know about, guys. Think about that. That's why this impeachment inquiry needs to happen. You know, Kevin McCarthy waited on this. And I think we've all been sitting here like scratching our heads. Why is he waiting? Why is he waiting? I credit Comer. I credit Jim Jordan for going out there and getting all the information that they have thus far. They'll be able to get more. But part of the reason for that, it's my understanding that there's a couple of holdouts. Like, you kind of want to have some unanimous support, right, before you go into an impeachment inquiry, because it probably means you're going to have an impeachment vote. You don't necessarily need one, by the way. That's a misnomer. You can actually just push it forward to the Senate where you would have the impeachment trial. And then it would be decided there. We've seen that, of course, recently. But anyway, they kind of lingered on this one. And it's because of a couple of people. Let me see if I can pull their names. You have a couple of House members that were not really into this, and I kind of wonder why. But there's two of them, one out of Colorado, for example, one more Republican that just said, well, you know, we don't really like this. Maybe they don't like the idea of impeachment in general because impeachment kind of feels third world-esque. But hey, guys, you know what? That train has left the station. It left a long time ago. It left on the second impeachment of Donald Trump. It left on the dossier and the FBI's willingness to actually wiretap the campaign. I mean, that's when the train left the station. So I wouldn't fret about that. I think the most important thing at this point in time is to make sure that everybody's on the up and up. And if we have to send a message, thank you very much, I'm willing to do that. We should all be willing to do that. Because this kind of stuff is unacceptable. Truly, 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 truly unacceptable. You know, Viktor Shokin, he's the prosecutor, do not forget, that got fired, courtesy of Joe Biden, who's told the Ukrainians, you know what, I'm not going to give you that $1 billion in financing and in aid because you're still employing Viktor Shokin. And my sources tell me he's corrupt. Well, his sources were none other than Hunter's employers. This is so beyond messed up. And so Viktor Shokin, he's like, wait a second, there's a reason I was fired. And it had everything to do with Hunter and Joe. Watch.
Was to cover up a $6 million bribe that he gave.
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
Do you believe they were up to no good? Were they up to doing something corrupt with Burisma? Was the company of Burisma corrupt, as been alleged, which since has been disbanded?
I have no doubt that there were illegal activities engaged in by Burisma. As a matter of fact, the criminal case had been started before me. It continued to expand, and Zlochevsky, who at the time held the post of minister and was the founder and CEO of Burisma, started bringing in people who could provide protection for him. Hunter Biden was among them. And the corruption network expanded as a result. So, yes, to answer your question, there's no doubt in my mind that Burisma was engaged in illegal activities.
Devin Archer said you were a threat to Burisma. Do you agree?
Да, согласен.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Why? Because you were going to find out what they were up to?
Because he understood, and so did Vice President Biden, that had I continued to oversee the Burisma investigation, we would have found the facts about the corrupt activities that they were engaging in that included both Hunter Biden and Devin Archer and others.
What corrupt activities did you suspect they were engaged in?
It would take half a day for me to discuss every single count, but I can say that Burisma illegally produced, sold, and utilized gas. Zlochevsky, the founder of Burisma, recently made a plea deal with the prosecution in a case where he was accused of giving a $6 million bribe, which is the kind of money that you don't just give away if you're not really engaging in anything illegal. So his plea deal was to cover up a $6 million bribe that he gave earlier.
Wow. Okay. So that was really very interesting interview. I'm glad that we had it in English. That's courtesy of Fox and Brian Kilmeade. I had been playing it for you in Russian and translating. So it's nice to have it in English. But he did come out earlier in August. This would be Viktor Shokin, the former prosecutor, just to kind of try and clear his name. And he's like, look, I really think that these two things are related. The reason I was fired was because Burisma was paying Hunter Biden to make sure that I was fired. And as Devin Archer told us, the guy who knows the guy, right?
Hunter Biden mingling with the crowd as a guest of his father, and Jill Biden, the first lady, as well. There,
you see, he's the guy who knows the guy who's still hanging out at state dinners. I just played you a little clip there. That was Hunter Biden the day he got his plea agreement done at a state dinner with the Prime Minister of India. I mean, give me a break. And do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, he was traveling on planes with his father all over the world when his father was vice president. That's troubling. Troubling. So his dad goes over there for a meeting and Hunter tags along on the same plane that you and I are paying for, U.S. taxpayer dollars, so that what? He can strike a deal and make some more money for the pot of which he's going to have to give dad 50%. Hey everyone, Trish Regan here. If you enjoyed that clip, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button right over there. Did I do that right? Not quite, but you know where it is. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get the alerts, and I'll see you back on the show.